Hello folks, in this video we will learn about inheritance, which is one of the four essential object-oriented programming concepts. So inheritance allows one child class to inherit some attributes and methods from its parent class. So let's see this by an example. So here first of all I will create one class called Pokemon, and inside I will have a name and I will also have one method. So let's write public void and let's give the method as display name. And I simply want to display the Pokemon name here. So I will write name of this Pokemon is, and then the name. Now this is simple stuff. So we can also access the Pokemon from our main method. So I will create an object of Pokemon. Let's name the object as Eevee equals to new Pokemon. And I can assign the name. So let's write Eevee.name equals to Eevee. And I can also access our display name method. So ev.displayname, and let's see what the result is. So as expected, we are getting name of this Pokemon is Eevee. So now this is not inheritance. We will see what inheritance is now. So there are four kinds of inheritance, and the first kind we will check is called single level inheritance. So this is when one child class is inheriting something from its parent class. So here I will create another class. Let's name it Pokemon type, and I will write extends Pokemon. So what this means is this Pokemon type is an extension of Pokemon, and this becomes a child class of this parent Pokemon class. So whatever we have inside our parent, that is the string name and this function, we also have it inside our Pokemon type class. So here I can write another variable. Let's call it type, and I will have another method over here. So let's write public void display name and type, and here I want to display both the name and type of the Pokemon. So I will write name, that is the Pokemon name, is a something type, whatever is that type Pokemon. Now let's try to access this from our main method. So I will create another object of Pokemon type. So let's name this object as Blastoise equals to new Pokemon type, and here I can access Blastoise.name, although the name is not defined inside the Pokemon type. It's defined inside the Pokemon, and this Pokemon type is a child class of this Pokemon, so I can also access the name. So let's write Blastoise.name equals to Blastoise, and then Blastoise.type equals to Blastoise is a water type Pokemon. So I'll write water, and I can also access both the method. So I can write display name, and I can also access display name and type. So now let's run the program and let's see what is the result. So as expected, we are getting name of this Pokemon is Eevee, which is coming from the above one, and then we are also getting name of this Pokemon is Blastoise, and Blastoise is a water type Pokemon. That means this single level inheritance, it works. And the next thing that we will see is called multi-level inheritance. So let's write multi-level inheritance. So this is when the child class itself has another grandchild class, and which is an extension of the child class itself. So let's write another class over here called secondary type extends my Pokemon type. So what this class is doing is it has access to both the Pokemon type class as well as the Pokemon class. So the Pokemon type is the immediate parent and the Pokemon is the grandparent, and the Pokemon has one child, that is the Pokemon type, and it also has one grandchild, and that is the secondary type. So this is how the secondary type will work. So this is what we call multi-level inheritance. And here let's write another variable. Let's call it secondary type, and here I will have another function again. So public void, and let's give the function as display secondary type. Now a Pokemon can have secondary type, or it may not have also. So let's say the Pokemon doesn't have. So I will simply write that name has no secondary type. That's it. And in case it has, I will do one method overloading here. So in the second one, I will pass this string secondary type, secondary type. So in the compile time, it will understand that these two methods are different, and here there is a syntax error because we have to add one plus. And in the second case, we will write name as a secondary type and then the type secondary type. So now in this case, let's create another object of this class. So secondary type, let's name the object as Charizard equals to new secondary type. And now let's like assign the variables. So Charizard dot name equals to Charizard, then Charizard dot type equals to my fire type. Now we also have one secondary type, like Charizard is fire and flying type. So here let's do one thing, Charizard dot display name, and it will display the name as expected, Charizard dot display name and type. This will also be displaying accordingly. And then Charizard dot display secondary. Let's call the first one. And now when I run this thing, what do we get? Charizard has no secondary type, so it is calling this one. And now let's give one secondary type and then do the same thing. So Charizard dot secondary type equals to flying. And now let's pass the accordingly function parameters. So I will write here Charizard dot secondary type. So now we are getting the results accordingly. Charizard has a secondary type flying. So this is how multi-level inheritance works. So this is like the grandchild, and this is 2-level deep. Now the third kind of inheritance that we will see, and this is called hierarchical inheritance. And this is when like the Pokemon class will have 2 children. So right now it only has one child, and that has another child. So it has one child and one grandchild. So let's say it has 2 children or multiple. So in that case, that this is something that we call hierarchical inheritance. So let's create another class, and let's name this class as Pokemon Gen, that is generation extends Pokemon. So this becomes one hierarchy. And here let's write another string of not string, we will write one int of gen, and we will simply print out our name and gen, because those are the only things we have access to. So public void display name and gen. So it will not be having access to these things, that is display secondary and this display name and type, because this is in parallel. Like only the child class will have access to the parent class elements. So these two are not directly related in that sense. So what can we do over here? So let's print out something. Let's print name is from gen and then the gen. And now let's create another object here, and let's name Pokemon Gen Celebi equals to new Pokemon Gen, and this Celebi will have access to the name. So let's name is Celebi, and it will also have access to the display name, and then this Celebi will have access to the gen. So Celebi is from generation 2, so it will also be having access to the display name and gen, but it is not really having access to the other things. So let's print out these things, and we have the same things, that is Celebi, name of the Pokemon is Celebi, and Celebi is from gen 2. Now let's forcefully try to access something from which is inside this Pokemon type. So let's try to display the name and type. Let's see if we can do something like that. So display name and type, and we have an error. So let's try to assign some type. So Celebi dot type equals to grass, and we have lots of errors, and hence we cannot do this. So let's remove it. And now lastly, the fourth kind of inheritance that we will see, and this is something we are already doing, is called hybrid inheritance. This is when the first three kinds of inheritance, that is the single level, multi-level and our hierarchical inheritance, we are doing together in a program. And this is something we are already doing in this program. So this is what hybrid inheritance is. There is nothing else to it. So that's it about inheritance in Java. However, there is one last kind of inheritance that we have not discussed and we will not discuss in this video. We will discuss it in a separate video, and that is called multiple inheritance. And we have to introduce another keyword called interface for that. And this is something that happens when one child class will have two parent classes, and we have faced one problem that is called the diamond problem. This is something we will see in a different video about interfaces. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and bye bye.